there is an expectation after a certain period of time that, okay, when this child is by this time, the child should stand. And it's a big deal for some parents. In fact, when you give birth, they actually give you this chart from the hospital when we are going for the immunization. It shows you the expected growth mark at each point. There is what the child is expected to do at 3 months, at 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and the rest. So the walking or the standing is the mark. Let's say standing at 1 year is the mark. But she couldn't get to standing until she first learned to raise her head up. Hello there, welcome to another episode of Jemi Baby Care. Now in this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you some big life lessons I learned from observing my baby grow. There were some things that really instructed me, right? And it made me realize that, in doing life, we actually have a lot of clues around us. The question is, are you paying attention? And so the very next point I'll be sharing when it comes to things I learned from observing a baby grow, life lessons, right? The next lesson is the fact that growth happens in stages over a period of time. Pay attention to the words. Growth happens in stages over a period of time. That means there is the first step and the next and the next and the next, right? And it will take a certain period of time. Now, let me relate it to the experience of my daughter. I think the hallmark of it for parents is that when they're celebrating their 1 year birthday, they should be able to stand, they should stand and cut the cake. Like, I work in the hospital and I've met a parent that, this was before I even gave birth, I met a parent that the child had a particular condition, and so the child was not yet standing without support. And the mother just briefed me that, oh, this baby is going to be 1 year soon. I was like, oh wow, happy birthday in advance. Are you going to celebrate it? And she was like, what is there to celebrate when she cannot even stand and cut her cake? So like, we can't take pictures and all that. And in my mind, I was like, oh wow, like, okay, this child is alive, right? I connected to her pain in that moment. And it was just an expectation, which is supposed to be like, let's say, natural life expectation, right? So I also believe in allowing children grow at their own rate, right? But this was a unique experience because something hindered the growth. And so I'm just sharing it to say that there is an expectation after a certain period of time that, okay, when this child is by this time, the child should stand. And it's a big deal for some parents. It's a natural thing, let's say, because at that time, children most age are expected to stand. In fact, when you give birth, they actually give you this chart from the hospital when we are going for the immunization. It shows you the expected growth mark at each point. There is what the child is expected to do at 3 months, at 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 1 year, 3 months, and the rest. So based on that alone, there is already an expectation that, okay, by this certain time, this child should have this result, right? And so, from my observation though, the walking or the standing is the mark. Let's say standing at 1 year is the mark. But she couldn't get to standing until she first learned to raise her head up. That was the very first major growth milestone I observed. She learned to raise her head up. And after she perfected raising her head up, she could now sit up, because we had actually tried to put her to sit at those times when she was still learning, just because she was making an effort to raise her head. And I observed that she really couldn't sustain it. She could stay for a while, and before you know, she just tumbles to the side from the sitting down position. And so she actually had to learn to raise her head up first and then to now sit. And the moment she perfects one, she's able to do the next one. And so after sitting, she learned to crawl. After crawling, she learned to walk. After walking, after crawling, she learned to stand, right? And after standing, she learned to walk. In the process of all of this, some are literally intertwined. Like, she actually tried standing while she was already crawling. The only thing is, she was actually able to stand well only after she had perfected crawling. That was when she would now stand without falling. Because at 4 times, when she was still trying to crawl and trying to stand, she would literally just stand, and before you know, she's falling left, right, and center. It was a beautiful experience, but it's something I now learned, that this whole growth experience, or when you desire results, right, there is a process to it. There is what needs to happen first and then the next, and then the next. And this would happen over a period of time. So what this does for me is that it teaches me a lot about being patient and being present in my current life experience. Because you might be in a season where you feel that, okay, let me not go ahead of myself, right? I'm still going through the experience, but the idea is you have to know that it requires a process and it's going to take time to get results, even with our own normal adult experience, right?